Hello and welcome to the James Johnston Wrestling channel. Obviously I'm James Johnston. Apologies I haven't done a video since the post-WrestleMania Raw. Just been a bit lazy really with everything. Done a lot more on my football channel, doing the football videos, and then I've just not done as much with the wrestling, but I'm back now and hopefully we'll consistently carry on. There'll be more of these coming up. So to start with, the Raw of the Superstar Shake-Up. That Raw started during the day with Apollo Crews moving to Raw. I was quite happy with that trade. I thought that's a decent trade for him. Hopefully he can rejuvenate himself. And then that Raw started with The Miz and Maurice. They come out dressed as John and Nikki Bella, as per usual. They've been doing that shtick. Dean Ambrose comes out. He interferes. And now the Intercontinental Champion is on Raw. That's another good trade for me. I thought Dean Ambrose was on the decline on SmackDown, and hopefully going to Raw will push him back up. He hits Miz with the Dirty Deeds. After that, the Revival faced the New Day of Big E and Xavier Woods. It was a great match. You know me, I love the Revival. I'm just gutted now that Dawson's injured for about 8 weeks, about 2 months. So unfortunately we won't see the Revival for a while. But the jumping shatter machine to win that match was incredible. It was a great match. We went backstage for a segment with Neville and TJ Perkins. They're talking. Austin Aries intervenes, and it sets up the seeds for a TJ Perkins heel turn, which I'll talk about a bit more later. Kurt Hawkins is on Raw, and Big Show just comes out and uppercuts him. That's it. Not welcome to Raw, Kurt Hawkins. Austin Aries versus TJ Perkins. TJ Perkins wins with a distraction from Neville, and then afterwards Perkins attacks Aries and hits him with a detonation kick, which sets up this heel turn, which again, like I said, I'll talk about later. Seth Rollins cuts a great face promo. He's really solidifying himself as a face now after beating Triple H at Mania. It's interrupted by Kurt Angle, and then Samoa Joe attacks him. After that, Charlotte faces Nia Jax. This match was good. It was a great moonsault to the outside from Charlotte, but then Nia Jax wins with the Samoan drop. Looks really strong. Next, we have the big talking point of Jinder Mahal versus Finn Balor. Jinder Mahal hits that elbow, and Finn Balor is just done. He's not all there. He finishes the match, but he's noticeably dazed. He's out. Jinder Mahal very, very powerful with that elbow. Bray Wyatt comes out. He's on Raw now. Not really happy with his trade for SmackDown. Was where he should be, especially with this House of Horrors match he was going to have with Randy, and he just got back with Eric Rowan the week before, so you know you're trying to solidify the Wyatt family. Don't know what happened there. Kalisto goes to Raw. That's a good pickup for the Cruiserweight division. Heath Slater and Rhino are on Raw. Good, you know, another tag team. The Raw tag team division is really good, so hopefully they'll get a good shot. And The Miz, he has a match against Sami Zayn, which was set up early in the night by Kurt Angle. Miz goes for the skull crushing finale off of Maurice's distraction, but he gets rolled up, and Sami Zayn wins. The Roman Reigns interview happens. Braun Strowman interrupts, and utter carnage begins. Braun Strowman has been booked brilliantly here. He flips the ambulance and everything. Amazing segment, amazing. Braun Strowman really is solidifying himself as the top heel, that top monster heel as well on Raw. It's really, really good, especially with Brock Lesnar away. He's really holding on to that. Gallows and Anderson and the Shining Stars versus Sheamus, Cesaro, and the Hardy Boys. Elias Sampson, he's on. Oh, just a car there. Elias Sampson comes onto Raw. I love the Drifter, so it's all well and good. It's a twist of fate and then a Swanton and Epico easy win for that team. Bayley, Sasha Banks promo. Alexa Bliss and Mickie James arrives. Alexa Bliss, Mickie James on Raw, and then Nia attacks Bayley and Sasha as well. Again, Alexa Bliss, I think she's one of the best women in WWE right now, so I'm happy she's on Raw. And then Kevin Owens faces Dean Ambrose. It's a good match. Ambrose wins with the Dirty D's, and then Raw closes with Chris Jericho laying out Owens with a code breaker. And And then we find out that David Otunga has moved to Raw and a Superstar Shake-Up to commentate. I'm not too happy about that. I don't think Otunga's fantastic on commentary, but Booker T's replacing him as Otunga's filming a movie. SmackDown now, with their Superstar Shake-Up, Byron Saxton, earlier in the day, he's on to SmackDown now, helped solidify that commentary team with the loss of Mauro Ranallo, sadly. Kevin Owens comes onto SmackDown. What a coup that is. Raw gets the LIC title, SmackDown gets the US title, and Kevin Owens, who's former Universal Champion, so that's a big coup for SmackDown. Baron Corbin intervenes. Sami Zayn comes out, he's on SmackDown, we all knew that one was happening. AJ Styles then interferes. After that, Randy Orton versus Eric Rowan. Bray appears. Orton gets distracted. Rowan hits Orton with the steps, then hits the full Nelson. Gets the win. After that, Usos versus American Alpha. I loved American Alpha's space themed gear. Really, really cool. I thought the ref botched the counts here twice in this match. It was really, really weird. It was a good match. I loved the dive into the belly-to-belly suplex, and then the Usos win with the splash. The Shining Stars, now known as the Colons, there on SmackDown. Jinder Mahal goes to SmackDown, more on that later. Jinder Mahal faces Mojo Rawley. The Gronk guy, again, he's at ringside. Mojo Rawley wins with like the pounce, you know, the old Monty Brown finisher. Yeah, really. Just, yeah. I'm not a Mojo Rawley fan. The Divas have a segment, and then Tamina gets on SmackDown. Charlotte comes to SmackDown. That's a big grab as well. She is the MVP of the Divas, really, in the whole of WWE. Sin Cara comes to SmackDown, really. You know, Sin Cara's, I thought he should have been kept with the cruiserweights, but whatever. Rusev is on SmackDown. Big news for that for me. I love a bit of Rusev. I'm well happy that Rusev now has a chance to shine. Aiden English versus Ty Dillinger. It was nice to see Aiden English on his own now. Obviously with Gotch being released. Ty Dillinger wins with the tiebreaker. And then Lana gets put on SmackDown, obviously with Rusev, but she's doing this burlesque strippery type gimmick. I don't know. The promos are really good though, because she's lovely to look at. Ziggler versus Nakamura segment then happens. Nakamura's just oversaying his name, isn't he, really? That's that. The New Day come to SmackDown. You've got to wait for Kofi Kingston, obviously, to finish with his injury. They'll be there. That's another great grab for SmackDown. And then Zayn versus Styles versus Baron Corbin in the main event. They did 3 vignettes for all 3 of these wrestlers. They were all brilliant. All made them feel big. I love that. And more of that, please, WWE. Make your talent seem, you know, upper echelon. That's great. It was a great match as well. All 3 got some good stuff in. AJ wins with a forearm to become the new United States #1 contender, and it feels that belt now is more elevated than the WWE Championship owned by Randy Orton. I feel that at Backlash they might have AJ versus Owens main event instead of Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal, which we're going to get onto later, like I said. But then going on to the other week's Raw, Braun Strowman, he cuts the promo, he starts the show. Angle comes out and announces payback. It's him versus Roman Reigns. Jericho versus Samoa Joe. Seth Rollins is on commentary. It's a great match. Samoa Joe wins with the choke. Very, standard stuff. Gallows and Anderson are backstage. Another segment with Elias Sampson just strumming the guitar. Braun Strowman just goes mad here. He just attacks the Golden Truth, throws Goldust through some like caging railing type thing. He's done. Next up was Gallows and Anderson versus Enzo and Cass. Anderson wins the match with like a throw into the corner. It just seemed like a sort of throwaway move and a win, but the Miss TV with Dean Ambrose happens. It was a good segment. I enjoyed this. The Miz is brilliant as always. He's always flawless. The Miz is like arguably one of the best heels in the company on his day. And I was impressed with Dean Ambrose. He seems a bit more rejuvenated. I think the lazy comments have got to him, and he's lifted himself up to the level that I believe he could be at. So hopefully that happens. Next, Braun Strowman again goes mad. He throws Kalisto into the dumpster, and Big Show then shoves him into into the garage door and says to him, "Pick on someone your own size," and that sets up the match between them two later. Next up was Jack Gallagher versus TJ Perkins. This was a good match again. Heel Perkins, like heel Neville, is working a lot for me. I think TJ Perkins has got to make it to the good heel. I'm enjoying him at the moment. He gets the win after distraction by Neville. He kicks the rope into Gallagher's eyes and then hits a detonation kick. And we go backstage to a segment with Apollo Crews. He's met by Titus O'Neil, who's in the suit, and talks about the Titus brand. Titus O'Neil for me is a wrestler, always had the potential, and then he got that suspension, and he's sort of been floating around. He's a brilliant talker. In ring, he's sort of, just the standard. I don't really think he's going to be upper echelon type talent. I could be proved wrong, but as a heel manager, and if they turn Crews heel, which I think they should do, this could have potential for me. This could go somewhere. I'd love to see Titus O'Neil as a heel manager. I think talking, he's brilliant. The Hardys and Cesaro have a sort of throwaway segment. Next up is Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss, Mickie James and Nia Jax. This was a great match. Nia Jax hit the Samoan drop on Sasha Banks. Alexa Bliss comes in, hits Nia Jax and steals the victory. Great stuff from Alexa Bliss. Great little heel bits. Works for her. Next up was Kurt Hawkins versus Finn Balor. You people moan that Goldberg's matches were quick. Kurt Hawkins now has just got this routine. I feel bad for the guy, really. Balor hits a stomp and win. Chris Jericho does a promo. He puts Elias Sampson on the list. Bray Wyatt cuts this brilliant promo, as per usual. He's got the really great imagery for the House of Horrors match, but none of us know what it is, so how can we get hyped for it? And then next, Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro. This is a dream match for me. I've wanted to see these two go at it for a while. It was a brilliant watch. Hardy hits a swanton and wins. And then next up, Braun Strowman versus The Big Show. This was the best match the Big Show's been in since the one with Roman Reigns, I believe, a few years back. I think it was at the February pay-per-view, the one after the Rumble, I think it was. It was brilliant. They beat the living hell out of one another. Big Show as well made him look great. Everything he did, Big Show made, it really got Braun Strowman over. And then the superplex and the ring collapse is great stuff. And then moving into SmackDown that week, the Charlotte promo. Naomi interferes. Shane McMahon sets up the match between the two. Natalya, Tamina and Carmella are backstage moaning at Shane and the opportunities. Natty says, well, we'll talk elsewhere about it. Next up, Dolph Ziggler versus Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, Jinder Mahal, Sami Zayn and Mojo Rawley. This was a great match, the six-pack challenge. Everyone got some bits in. Harper and Sami Zayn looked awesome, as always. Jinder Mahal wins after the Bollywood Boys interfere. And it might not be what you all want. It's not necessarily what I want, really, but it's good to see that WWE is pushing someone else, someone new. And I think Jinder Mahal genuinely gets a good heel reaction. He gets good heat, and so it's nice to see someone new get a chance. It might not be who we all want. It's not he's not an internet darling by any means, but I'm glad that someone's getting the push, and I can get into Jinder Mahal, I reckon. Next up was Charlotte versus Naomi. This was a good match. Charlotte hit the natural selection, and she's like I said earlier, she's the franchise on both. She's the franchise of the division of both brands. She's head and shoulders above any of the others. American Alpha versus the Colons. I said about I liked American Alpha's attire from last week, but their momentum just seems so flat. You consider the reactions they got in NXT to what they get now. They're just sort of there, aren't they? The Colons win with a kick and a roll up, and that's it really. Just takes the steam out of American Alpha again. Kevin Owens does his Face of the America challenge. This Face of America whole shtick in this heel run is really, really good. I'm loving Kevin Owens at the moment. I always have loved him, but I think he's doing brilliant work here. He faces Gary Gandy and just squashes him nice and easy. And the main event, Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles. Kevin Owens stays on commentary. It was an okay main event. I'm happy that Baron Corbin's getting to prove himself against the high caliber, main eventers, because we've all read, if you do read the dirt sheets and everything, we've all read the rumours that Baron Corbin's meant to be pushed as the big heel on SmackDown this summer and possibly potentially getting a title run. I'm all for that. I've loved Baron Corbin for a long time. But AJ Styles gets the win by count out after he's thrown into Kevin Owens. And then this week's Raw, heading into Payback, Jericho kicks off the show with a highlight reel. Then it becomes Miz TV, then it becomes the Ambrose Asylum, lots of basic comedy stuff. Ambrose hits the dirty deeds on the Miz, and Maurice makes the list. Matt Hardy versus Sheamus, it was alright, it wasn't brilliant. Sheamus gets distracted, Matt hits the twist of fate and wins. The sooner the broken gimmick can come, the better, because I feel this old school Hardy stuff is sort of dwindling for me. Miz and Angle have a segment backstage, sets up a tag team match for later. The Miz needs to find a tag team partner. That's that. Neville TJ Perkins versus Aries and Jack Gallagher. Like I said earlier, I love heel TJ Perkins. We all love heel Neville. Gallagher sends Perkins into a forearm and then a discus 5-arm by Austin Aries for the loss. Good stuff there. Kalisto versus Braun Strowman. This wound me up. This really annoyed me. Braun Strowman lost. Now, for me, Braun Strowman, the way they've pushed him the last couple of weeks, he should have been protected. He should be going in undefeated into Payback as this monster, and he should beat Roman Reigns as well. But to have him lose to Kalisto, just why? Just why? And then, alright, he gets to push him off the stage in the dumpster afterwards, but he should have just done that anyway. He should have won the match and then done it. I just don't get what WWE do sometimes. For all the good stuff they do, they just dwindle it the week after and make him look silly. It's annoying. Bray Wyatt cuts another good promo, as per usual. He says he's going to be reborn after the House of Horrors. I don't think so, Bray. Sorry, WWE don't give you the tools to work with, mate, sadly. Dana Brooke versus Alicia Fox. This was a bit sloppy for me. I like Dana Brooke. She gets the win with one of the worst Michinoku drivers I've ever seen in my life. After the match, Emma hugs her. It just continues that awkward will they, won't they story. Enzo and Cass come out. The Club and Joe attack them. Seth Rollins comes to help. It all goes a bit mad. Angle comes down, says because Enzo can't compete, they need a new partner. Out comes Finn Balor. Good match. I thought they'd play more on Balor and Gallows and Anderson in the club's history. They didn't really do much with that. Rollins goes for a pedigree. He reconsiders and hits an elbow for the 1-2-3. If Rollins is no longer using the pedigree as his finisher, I hope he has something a bit more impactful than just the elbow. I think he, after the curb stomp's been banned, he's got to try and find something relatively new and relatively good quick. The Divas segment with Bliss, Banks and Bayley, it dragged on way too long for me. I hated it. If anything, it just dragged way too long. And Bayley's starting to get booed, which I don't like because she's really talented. And this segment didn't help. After that, Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss. Bliss lost by count out. Bayley tried to throw her back in the ring. Bliss escapes. Burley turns round. Bliss attacks her, runs away. Just standard. I'm finding this Sasha turn on Bayley quite slow and tiring, really. I hope the Raw Women's division gets better. Losing Charlotte to SmackDown's obviously made it take a blip. After that, Jericho and Ambrose had a segment backstage. And it was a really good segment. Jericho was gold and he'd be missed going away with his tour with Fozzy now. Next up was Kurt Hawkins versus Apollo Crews. Same old for Hawkins, wasn't it, really? The Crews just isn't connecting with the audience at all for me. Titus O'Neil comes down afterwards. And hopefully, like I said earlier, Titus O'Neil was a heel manager. And turning Crews heel with him hopefully will rejuvenate him. The Miz has a segment backstage with Kurt Angle. Elias Sampson shows up again for the third week running, and I'm just wondering when he's going to get in the ring and we can see him, because I quite enjoy the Drift. I think he's a good character. After that, Miz with his mystery partner versus Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose. It was an okay match. Jericho kicks Miz out the ring. Miz goes up the ramp. Dean Ambrose goes to get him on the table. The lights flicker. Boom, Bray Wyatt's on Raw now. Finally, he grabs Dean Ambrose's sister Abigail into the LED light board. He gives Jericho his sister Abigail, and the Miz taps him on the shoulder to thank him, goes for the pin. He's had enough, he gets his sister Abigail, and Bray Wyatt looks dominant to win the show. For me, not the best build-up to Payback. Generally not excited for Payback at all, really. Just seemed like a throw away type of Raw going into Payback. And like I said earlier, I wasn't happy with what they did with Strowman and how they've utilised their other superstars from the Superstar Shake-Up and the ones that are already there going into the pay-per-view after Mania, which they need to rebuild and steadily progress into SummerSlam. So you never know, Payback could be a great show and I could look really stupid, but I've got my doubts. And then to finish off the week, SmackDown. SmackDown opens up with Renee Young and Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura is interrupted by Dolph Ziggler. They go back and forth. Nakamura throws him on his back. Dolph Ziggler rolls out. It was a good segment. Nakamura's getting over without having to say much. You know, he's got quite broken English still, so they're just utilising him with the tools he has. Next up was Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles. Like I said earlier, I love how Corbin is being utilised against the premier main eventers that are on SmackDown. It's really helping cement his push, which he deserves because I find him really talented. Baron Corbin went for a powerbomb. He's rolled up and pinned. Kevin Owens, who was on commentary again, he attacks AJ Styles afterwards. Sami Zayn comes out to help. He hits a haluva kick on Baron Corbin whilst Kevin Owens is on the apron. He attacks Sami Zayn and then powerbomb Styles. After that, American Alpha versus the Colons. It's a beat the clock challenge, which I felt adds a different dynamic to the tag team division on SmackDown. I enjoyed this. They're reverting to something different to help. The tag team division on SmackDown is considerably weak compared to Raw's. American Alpha wins with the Grand Amplitude, but they still feel quite flat to me, sadly. I love American Alpha, so hopefully they can build them back up. Rusev cuts a promo now and he demands a title match at Money in the Bank, says he hates SmackDown, Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan. I can't wait for Rusev to get in the ring on SmackDown because I love me some Rusev and hopefully he gets a push as well because that guy's mad talent. Becky Lynch gets interviewed, she gets interrupted by Natalya and Stable gets told you're either with us or you're against us. Again, Randy Orton has a match with Eric Rowan. I feel quite bad for Eric Rowan now that Bray Wyatt's on Raw. He's sort of come back to be solidified with the Wyatt family and him. He just seems like he's a nobody now. They didn't reunite with Harper either. Orton wins after ducking and Rowan hits the chair. He gets an RKO for the win and Rowan's just back to being plain old Rowan again, isn't he? Like I said, he's going to need some help now to try and build himself up because he's really got nothing going for him. Orton cuts a promo, out comes Jinder Mahal. Jinder just going for it on the promo with this anti-American stuff, which I'm enjoying. It's working for him. He's getting the heat. The crowd are reacting to it, and he's doing a good job. But it's not on the Muhammad Hassan type levels. We all know how good Muhammad Hassan could have been, and unfortunately the 7-7 attacks happening and the controversial angle they did on that night on that SmackDown completely wiped that, and he's never wrestled again. Randy Orton goes for the DDT on Jinder Mahal, but the Bollywood boys come out, they attack Orton, and then Jinder steals the belt. I like it. I like Jinder Mahal at the moment. I'm getting into it. After that, Breezango versus the Ascension. It was an okay match. Both the teams just scream what could have been to me. They both could have been so much better than what they are. Breezango get the win after Breeze hits a super kick and Fandango gets the win. He covers and gets the win. They're the new number one contenders. Could they rebuild Tyler Breeze and Fandango? Hopefully so. I think both are brilliant wrestlers, especially Tyler Breeze. I really, really like him. Next up, Naomi versus Charlotte. It was a good match. Naomi's earning her stripes now. She's really coming into her own, and Charlotte's just the MVP of the women's division. The match ends, Natalya, Carmella, Tamina, they attack them both. Tamina hits a super kick, and all the women of James Ellsworth pose as SmackDown ends. And that's that decent show, much better than the one that Raw put on for the Payback Go Home show. And, SmackDown, in conclusion, I think they're utilising their superstar shake-up wrestlers a lot better than what Raw are doing, and they're making them feel a lot more important. Raw got the better of the trades, as you'd expect. They got Dean Ambrose, Miz, they're former world champions, so it's all well and good. I think how Raw undermined Braun Strowman this week was really annoying for me. Like I said earlier, it really wound me up. And in contrast to how they've put Jinder Mahal in the stable that he's in now, it's a joke. I think Jinder Mahal looks really strong, even stealing the championship and everything else is brilliant. Payback is later tonight. I'll have my review up tomorrow for you guys. I apologise for the lack of activity on this channel. I've had a lot going on, but I'm focusing on it now and getting more time, so I'm making more content. And I'll have the Payback review up tomorrow. I'm going to have the Raw and Smackdown review up on Wednesday, and then we're going to have an NXT 205 Live, a Impact Wrestling, and a Ring of Honor review up either on Friday or Saturday. I think probably Saturday, but I'll keep this schedule up, and then we can have more content. Hopefully we can interact, have more fun. If you're enjoying what I'm doing, like, comment and subscribe. If you want to ask me some questions, ask me some questions. Follow me on Twitter at LCoolNames91. And like I said, hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you soon. Take it easy. Bye.